In a courtroom that felt more like a political battlefield than a hall of justice, former FBI Director James Comey stood and pleaded not guilty. The man who once oversaw some of the most powerful investigations in America is now the one under the microscope, charged in a case that many see as a symbol of political vengeance and a warning to anyone who dares to challenge power. The charges come from what's being described as a Trump-era Department of Justice prosecution, revived and pursued. Under renewed pressure from allies of the former president, prosecutors claim Comey mishandled internal documents and obstructed official processes, while his defense insists this is a targeted political attack, orchestrated by those who never forgave him for refusing to pledge loyalty to Donald Trump during his presidency. The scene inside the courtroom was tense. Reporters packed the benches, the air thick with tension. Comey, composed but clearly aware of the stakes, entered his plea and left without answering questions, his team labeling the case a weaponized form of justice, calling it retribution disguised as accountability. But here's the reality that the headlines won't tell you. This isn't just about James Comey. This is about the battle over control of the justice system itself, because the DOJ has become a political weapon, used, abused, and rebranded depending on who's in charge. And that's the real scandal. Think about it. For years, the left accused the Trump administration of turning the Justice Department into a revenge machine. But now those same voices fall silent when the scales tilt the other way. Hypocrisy in politics isn't new, but it's never been this bold, this transparent, this institutionalized. Comey's fall from power is almost cinematic, once hailed by the media as a symbol of integrity, then vilified as the man who derailed Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign, then again framed as a martyr after being fired by Trump. Now he's standing trial, a man who's lived through every phase of America's political pendulum, from hero to villain and back again, depending on who benefits from the story. His plea of not guilty may sound procedural, but symbolically, it's much louder. It's a challenge to an entire narrative. That political prosecution is somehow justice, that power can be cleansed by destroying yesterday's enemy. Comey's lawyers are already drawing battle lines. They argue that the prosecution relied on selective evidence, politically motivated leaks, and statements made under partisan influence. They're pointing directly at Trump-era DOJ officials who reportedly pushed the case long after Comey's firing, suggesting this is less about law and more about settling scores. And here's where it gets even more twisted. Critics of Comey are celebrating, saying this is finally accountability. The same critics who defended the use of executive power to silence investigations when it suited them. They claim this is justice served. But when similar tactics are used against their own, it suddenly becomes tyranny. That's the double standard that defines American politics today. Accountability only matters when it targets the other side. When your side is in the crosshairs, it's called persecution. The hearing has already reignited debates about the weaponization of the DOJ, with former officials warning that every administration seems to treat justice as a partisan tool. The precedent this sets is dangerous, because when justice becomes revenge, truth becomes irrelevant, even within the Justice Department. There's unease. Sources close to the agency describe quiet divisions. Prosecutors who fear the public no longer trust their work, and they're right to be worried, because when citizens see the law used like a sword instead of a scale, faith in the system collapses. Meanwhile, media outlets have predictably split down party lines, some calling the prosecution righteous, others branding it a witch hunt. But what both sides conveniently avoid saying is that the truth has become secondary to the spectacle. It's all about the optics, the sound bites, the narrative that feeds the machine. Comey, for all his controversies, stands now as a test case. If he's guilty, justice must be proven in open court, with evidence, transparency, and no political strings attached. But if this case is just another performance in the endless show of political retaliation, then it's not just Comey on trial. It's the system itself. And let's be honest, the system's record isn't clean. The same DOJ that went after political enemies has also protected allies, whether under Democrats or Republicans, from Hunter Biden's investigations to Trump's classified documents case. The pattern is clear. Power protects power until it doesn't. This is why the Comey trial matters, not because of who he is, but because of what it represents: the slow erosion of impartial justice, replaced by a cycle of revenge and retaliation, every side claiming moral high ground, while digging the country deeper into division. As Comey left the courthouse, cameras flashing, one reporter shouted, "Do you still believe in justice?" Comey didn't answer. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe the question itself no longer has an honest answer in today's America. So here's the outsider's take. This isn't about left or right. It's about what happens when institutions become mirrors of the people who run them. when truth bends under pressure, and when accountability turns into political theater. In the end, both sides lose, and the people watching from the outside are left wondering whether justice still means anything at all. If America's justice system is truly blind, then it's time to prove it, not with slogans, but with actions, not with prosecutions of convenience, but with consistent accountability, no matter who's in power, because when justice becomes partisan, no one's innocent anymore. This has been Outsider's Take. Subscribe for more truth-based analysis, more stories that challenge the noise, and more breakdowns of the narratives that power would rather you ignore.